So about 4 years ago, I decided to post my first ever YouTube video. And although in retrospect, it was a little bit cringy. I'm going to be giving this skirt a makeover from a midi length skirt to a pleated mini skirt. Please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. The sound, the way I was talking in the video was just like very, I don't know, it was just like not as organic as I wanted it to be, but it was my first video. But I'm so glad that I just kept going. I'm so glad that I just like kind of kept pursuing and trying to figure out my style. It was videos like this that helped to propel me forward in order to get started on my channel. It just gave me like the extra push that I needed, the extra confidence that I needed, seeing other people start their journey too. And I'm hoping that this video can help you. So if you're just new to trying to get started on YouTube, or if you've been following for a while, just want to know like how I did everything, you know, keep watching. So without further ado, let's get into this. You are watching DIY by Niky Foster. So before we get into like the nitty gritty details of like all the YouTube stuff, I wanted to share a little bit of background about me and my channel. Let's reel this back a little bit. So I sat on the idea of starting a YouTube channel for a while. It was just one of those ideas like in the back of my head that I didn't really want to like implement, but I did. I am naturally really shy. You know how people talk about like those introverts, but like when they're at home, they can be extrovert. That's me to the core. I've come out of my shell quite a bit now, but normally I'm just like, ooh, I don't know. You know, it like the idea of like millions of people seeing me on like a platform like this kind of made me nervous a little bit at first. But then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let that fear take over. So then finally I just like spoke up and was like, you know, I really want to start a YouTube channel. And my husband was able to help me out. So when you look back on my channel, if you scroll all the way back to like some of the first videos, you'll see that some of the first ones was sewing. The idea behind my whole channel was I wanted to do DIY and crafts, and I wanted to like really tap into the creativity. I wanted to document my creativity and like take it further every time. And you'll see now that I've learned different types of crafts. Like you see Cricut on my channel, you'll see Glowforge on my channel. You know, you'll see different things, and I'm not afraid to like try DIY projects. I'm not afraid to like paint something, you know, I'm not afraid to do these things now. I don't know if I was really afraid before. It's just more so the documenting it. I wanted to see how far I was able to take like some of my spaces. So when I lived in a different house, I was transforming these spaces. I was like painting the walls. I was experimenting with bold colors that I probably would never use right now, like oranges and stuff, but I was trying it out, and I never documented that process. I never really like recorded myself doing like before and after. I don't even know if I really took pictures of it. It was just like I got inspired to do a project, I would just do it. And then my husband actually was the one to be like, you know, you should probably film this. You should probably like film it, and just so you could see before and after. And I was like, you know what? Funny, I was thinking about starting a YouTube channel. So that was like the part one of it. It was just started like kind of as like a conversation, like a little snippet of an idea, and I wanted to like blossom into that. So that's just like a little bit of background about my channel. And if that's something that interests you, you know, if you're like into home decor, DIY crafts, and lifestyle content, that's basically what you'll find here on this channel. So make sure you subscribe and put the notifications on so you don't miss stuff when I post. Okay, so let's talk about equipment. So when I first started my channel, I didn't have my own equipment. I inherited my husband's equipment. So he used to do like photography on the side, and I basically used his photography camera. I used all his lighting, his equipment, his microphones, his cards, his SD card chips, everything. I didn't buy anything. I basically used all the stuff he had to do my filming and do my videos. I had to like open the aperture super wide to make sure everything was in focus, because if I moved out the frame and came back, I wouldn't be like in focus. So I would look blurry, and I had to like learn how to do all those things. And I basically used what I had. And even now people use their phones. So I didn't know a lot of people always talk about, if you're trying to get started on starting a YouTube channel, just use your phone, use what you have. Even me now, I still use my phone sometimes. So if you're getting started, totally use what you have, use your phone, use whatever equipment you have available to you. Criticism. All right, let's talk about criticism online, on YouTube, on the internet in general. There are people out there that are like, they like to be critics. They like to critique. I'm not sure if you guys remember that video I did downstairs in the foyer where I painted the doors black. I had tons of people like on YouTube. Everyone like loved it. They liked the idea. They like, oh my God, what paint did you use? I had so many like good questions. Or I had people commenting like, oh, if you tried Crud Cutter, try this other cleaning. This one's better. I love that. But on Instagram, there was a lot of people that was just, I would never. You know, like it was like so opinionated, and it was like more of a harsher critique versus like, oh, what color I like better. It didn't come off as a constructive criticism. It came off like more like hating criticism, but we all have to get used to that. And the criticism, not for nothing, it does help you grow like a thicker skin reading these comments online. Sometimes you just have to ignore them, and sometimes if they're super mean or super rude and you just don't like it, you can delete them. People are entitled to their own opinion, but when it goes a little too far, feel free to delete those comments. I've definitely done it myself. When a video goes viral or when a video is like starting to blow up, you'll notice there's a lot of negative comments. And it's not only negative, it's sometimes just people who are very opinionated. So I'm gonna use my master bathroom for an example. When I did that bathroom, I was painting like half of the wall black and then the other half was like white subway tiles, and I left the cabinet like natural, like I cleaned it and left it like the natural wood. So many people was like, oh, I would have painted it black, or I would have painted it orange or green or whatever. Like people were doing like saying all sorts of things. People weren't necessarily being negative, they were just saying their opinion. So people are very opinionated and everyone doesn't have to agree with you. I think a lot of times because people are subscribed to our channels or people are looking at our content, we're thinking that everyone is like, they like us, they like what we're doing. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could sometimes mean people are coming to you for advice, like they like a portion of your video, they kind of like the concept of what you're doing, or your thumbnail was just super awesome that they wanted to click on it. It doesn't necessarily mean everyone's gonna agree with you. And I feel like a lot of creators sometimes nowadays, we can get really defensive, and just because someone doesn't agree with us doesn't necessarily mean that they're being nasty. I've come to grow like a little bit of a thicker skin now. That's like some stuff that I've been learning as I go through this YouTube journey, this DIY journey. And, I'm like coming into more confidence within myself too. And yeah, I think that's it. So piggybacking off of the criticism thing, I wanted to talk about like trying to be unique, just standing out, being different. Don't be afraid to be different online. Don't be afraid to be different on YouTube or whatever portion of content you are into. I find nowadays a lot of people just copy, and it's like kind of boring to see the same thing over and over and over again. I understand that some people can be inspired and that could be some people's style, and that's totally okay. A lot of times I feel like there's a lot of people who just like it's like a copy paste. It's funny because I'm talking about YouTube, but if like I keep thinking back and forth to Instagram too. And not for nothing, if someone inspired you, just like kind of give credit at the bottom. I try to do that. If I seen anyone else that I like redid something, oh, I got inspired by this, or I had first saw this person post this location, so I decided to try it out. I like to hold myself accountable for stuff like that too. But a lot of times I see like literally the same exact thing. What I don't like is sometimes a lot of bigger creators sometimes copy the smaller creators and they don't really give credit, and then vice versa. Like if a smaller creator is doing something and they copy of someone bigger, it's still okay to put like, hey, I got inspired by, this person, you know what I mean? I know like when I like choose my paint colors, I reference Monica Hibbs, an interior designer, Monica Hibbs, from Monica Hibbs House Tour. I say, hey, I didn't find this color. This person found this color, but I'm using it and I recommend it to you. You know what I mean? So that's just one thing I like to do. And it's something that I feel like allows me to be like super genuine. I feel like creators need their credit. And if you're starting a YouTube channel, you should probably tap into that too. I feel like you get recognized and like, I feel like more like blessings kind of come your way when you're not just stealing people's stuff and you're being yourself. Again, I don't know. That's just me. So the other thing I think I did a little bit different that allowed me to stand out online was creating luxury on a budget. So I know sometimes like some people say like, oh, it's impossible, or you can't do it, or it won't last, or something like that. I don't believe that because I've been doing DIY on a budget for many, many moons. I have been doing this before I even had a YouTube channel. So not to say I'm the only person that does that. I understand that other people do it too, but I just felt like that particular video was something different in that realm like a few years ago that other people weren't really doing. Or maybe it was the colors that I chose. It wasn't like some of the other colors that might have been popular at the time. I don't necessarily go with trendy colors. I go with what I like. I'm not like hop skipping and jumping on every trend. I'm staying true to me. I feel like everyone has their own personal style. And when people are like showing it and like developing more of their style online, you can kind of see that. I think my style is more like like it's very modern, but it has like those vintage elements. And that's like how I try to like describe my style overall. I love like a modern, clean space, but I love adding like those vintage elements because I feel like it adds a lot of personality. I'm inspired by Joanna Gaines. I love how she does all those farmhouse things, but I feel like she has like a lot of modern touches too. And I still like kind of tap into some of those elements that she showed how to like design on HGTV. So I just use some of those elements and then take some of those concepts and be like, how can I do this way cheaper? So that's like kind of like what I would do. And I know other people here on YouTube do stuff in a whole different way, and that's what makes every channel stand out, you know? So like there are some other creators here on YouTube that they do stuff like, you know, I'm only going high end on this project. For me, I was doing stuff on a budget, and I think that is what stood out. So the other part of this whole journey of YouTube is figuring out thumbnails. I know a lot of people, like, they say the thumbnail matters even more than your video. Obviously, there's like some truth to it because like people aren't going to click on your thumbnail if they don't find it interesting. But then also the video has to be good too for people to stick around, right? So I want to like take it back to like my most viral video, which is this bathroom makeover under $300. I titled it like $300 bathroom makeover. I was going for the luxurious kind of vibe, but on a budget. The thumbnail kind of calls it out. But before that thumbnail, I had a different thumbnail, and someone commented on the video. This was like one of my first few 100 views. This person commented, you have a really good video, but you need to update your thumbnail. And I was a little bit offended. I'm not gonna lie. I was like a low-key offended, like, who is she to like say this? You know what I mean? But eventually, like a couple months later, I was like, you know what? Maybe she's right. Like, I just kind of like got over myself. I got over my ego and was like, you know what? Maybe she's right. I mean, maybe she has a channel that I don't know about. You know, you never know. Like maybe she just really was looking out. That goes back into that whole criticism thing. Some people are doing constructive criticism, and, you know, starting early on, you know, I'm like a little sensitive to different things, you know, and getting over that, I like took her advice, and like then the video started slowly but surely, it started blowing up. The video title sounded kind of clickbaity, like people almost couldn't believe it, but then I backed it up with like the price list. So it really wasn't clickbait. It just seemed like clickbait. And when people started watching it, like couldn't believe it. But people also aren't going to click on your video if the thumbnail kind of sucks. You know, it's kind of like a hand in hand kind of thing. And that was like one of the things that I think helped me to go viral. So I didn't really know what to call this section of the video, but I guess I want to call it like mindset. When I first started this channel, I did not go into this channel, creating a channel with the mindset of like, oh, I want to blow up. You know, I really went into it with the mindset of like, I want this creative outlet. I really want to document my journey, and I wanted to inspire people. But once I saw that I was inspiring people and people kept commenting and just like, you know, they like wanted to know if I had any more ideas, I was like, whoa, that like really put the battery in my back. And I wanted to make sure I stay true to that. So that was like the whole reason why I even thought about like what I wanted to present for my channel to begin with. That's basically what I still do now. Comments, subs, and views. So another thing that I think led to helping me grow my channel to over 100,000 subscribers is paying attention to all the comments. So when someone would take the time to comment on my channel or on a video, I would go back and comment to them too. Or I would like their comment. If they said, hey, do you have a follow-up video? I would try to like link that video so then they can go watch it, and it helps your, you know, it helps your algorithm too. It helps them stay on your channel longer, you know, which helps push your channel to more people. Let's talk about the subscribers part and the views part. So obviously when you're starting a YouTube channel, you want to get subscribers. Everyone wants to make it to that 1,000 subscriber mark. I know I did. That was like my goal originally. I was like, well, I just want to make it to 1,000 so I could like get those 40,000 watch hours, and I can get, or 10,000 watch hours, and I can get monetized. Like that's what I was like trying to go for. And you know, lo and behold, it like blew up way beyond what I could even have imagined. So I'm so grateful for that. But I remember that feeling so bad. I was like, oh, I'm at like 800. I'm at 800. I can't wait till it keeps going. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I forgot what I was about to say. I had heard this girl say this a long time ago, and it stuck with me ever since. This was like years ago. You guys probably know her on YouTube and on Instagram, Vanessa Lau. She said something along the lines of, your family is like your first followers. And once I read that, I thought it was such an eye-opening way to look at like your followers, your family, your subscribers, and stuff like that, because I found that to be true. Like, when I had posted my bathroom, this was like the first time on Instagram that I had got even like 500 likes on like a photo. They had resonated with that transformation so well. I was like, okay, I think I'm onto something, you know? there is something like called like the pillars of like how how your channel can blow up. I want to say Katie U. There was something she said. Hold on a second. Let me double check. I want to make sure I'm right. Okay, I found it. Catchy personality, unique editing, and content value. Katie U created a video about how she got to 100K subscribers. And in that video, she talked about like the Bermuda Triangle of content creation. And basically what she was talking about was you needed to have 2 out of the 3 elements to create a successful YouTube channel, or what she believed to be make her channel successful. Personality, editing style, and value. I don't necessarily think I'm like that funny online because I can be a little bit more introverted even behind the camera. I feel like I have a hard time showcasing my personality like to the camera, but when I'm home like with my kids and my husband and I'm being silly, like I can do all that at home, but when I'm on camera, I just feel like, I don't know, like something comes over me and I'm like, hey, I'm so professional, you know what I mean? Like, so I think the 2 things that helped me to gain a lot of success and a lot of views for some of my videos here on YouTube was the unique editing style and the value. So I truly think that value is one of the main things that I bring to the table. I think my ideas are like really good. Sometimes they're like, think outside the box, and I try to execute and edit them in a way that makes everyone stay engaged and make everyone feel like they're not in a boring kind of movie. You know what I mean? Like I try to make sure that it's like quick paced, jam packed with value. A lot of the times, and this might be like that introvert part, like this video, this took me 4 years to make. Like that's why I'm able to like sit here and like chat with you and talk with you and bring a little bit more of my personality out, because now I'm like used to the camera. But way back in the day when I was first starting, voiceovers was like my safety zone because I didn't really want to sit and talk to the camera. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do a voiceover and just like, you know, I'll have my script all clean. I'll read my script. Over the years, I have been okay to show my mistakes. Darrell. Yo. I've been showing bloopers. DIY poster using. I'm recording. I like showing bloopers because it shows like I'm like stuttering on my words a lot. So thanks. I refilm certain things quite a bit. You know, that's like part of the editing that I do. And then the value, which we just mentioned, I bring a lot to the table. So like a lot of times I'll put like my price list in the video. I'll make sure everything's like budget friendly. If it's crafty, I'll show like all the stuff. I give a lot of details, a lot of specs. I basically create content that I will want to watch. And I feel like sometimes how I see things, other people don't make it like how I do. You know what I mean? Like I know sometimes like the tutorials could be just like more tutorial based, but that's also, I like learning things. Like I mentioned before, I like learning things, or like documenting things. When I figured out something, I'm like, you know what? I want to be able to watch this video again so I can remember how I did it. So that's why like some of those videos, like the Cricut ones with the waterproof labels, I made that video, really, I made it for me because I was like, how can I do this? And you know what? What I did was like, I'm going to share this because I want someone else to be inspired and learn how to do it themselves too. So that's basically that in a nutshell. I hope that helps. Before I sign off, let's talk about confidence. A while ago, I created a video with like 5 books that changed my life, and I highly recommend that you go watch that video. 2 of those books really stand out as I talk about this journey, this DIY journey, because it took me a little bit of time to like kind of get here. I think I like started dabbling with the idea of like creating a YouTube video in like 2019, but I didn't really get to do it till like 2020. So some of those books in there kind of really changed my perspective on like how to approach things in life and just like gain more confidence and like be the person I want to be. This is like a diary almost. Like this is like a diary entry. Like one of the things I like to do is write. And the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert was one of like those pivotal points when I had read that book and listened to the audiobook, and it kind of changed the way I thought about a lot of different things. And it kind of like, I don't know, it gave me like a little bit of like a confidence boost too, like to know like I could do different things. And that's like kind of sort of where I was like, I thought I could do a YouTube video, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and even like with my channel, you'll see like some of my first videos, I was a little bit like a little timid, you know what I mean? Now I'm like opening up a little bit more. I'm getting more confident in front of the camera. The other book was Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. That book just like, it really changed the game for me. Like allow me to know like, you know what, like when you sit with your thoughts, when you write your thoughts out, when you're writing things that you want to accomplish in your life and you just kind of like kind of put those things in motion. You know, you just kind of do it. During the pandemic, I really sat with myself and thought about some of the things I really like to do. So for a while, I like logged off of social media and just like really tapped into my own, you know what I mean? So like I was doing a lot of coloring, I was doing bullet journaling, you know, I was reading a lot of books, you know, I started writing again. These are some of the things that helped me to like know what I wanted to do, because I was like tapping into like my creative self. I was like tapping into like things I wanted to do, and I wasn't necessarily getting like sucked in by like what other people were doing online. But with the pandemic in general, it kind of allowed people to put a lot of things into perspective. And I was one of those people. I'm like, you know what? People are going left and right. Like, you know, what do I want to do with myself? What do I want to do with my life? Like, what do I want to leave? What mark do I want to leave? You know? And I just started thinking about like, you know, why am I being so scared to start a YouTube channel? Like, I should just do it. You know what I mean? Like, I should just do it. Like, what's literally the worst that could happen? No one watches it. Like, if I don't have one, no one's watching that either. You know what I mean? So I just started thinking to myself in a bit of a different way. And those books really just kind of helped me like zone in and kind of get over that fear a little bit. Like I said before, I'm like naturally a shy person. I've been like not claiming that as much anymore, but I was like extremely shy as a kid, and I feel like that just was like kind of like ingrained in me as I like got older, and like I've been trying to like come out of my shell now. This was some of the things that helped me to even like press record in the first place. All right, so this has been a long 1 hour. It took me about an hour and a half to film this whole thing. Thank you so much for watching this video. If this helped you, if this kind of gave you a little bit of boost, like put that battery in your back, comment down below. I wanted to make sure I like really came through for you and gave you like a full-on experience and a thought process, and just was like, I wanted to be really genuine, and I didn't really want to be shy and timid when I was like giving you this information. So I guess that's why it took me a little bit of time to, you know, record it. The other thing is knowing that I inspired a lot of you to follow me, over 100,000 of you, I think over 148,000 now. I appreciate that. I have such an immense gratitude for you. It kind of opened my eyes to a lot more possibilities and creativity, and seeing that you guys, you know, want to see some of these different things from me. It really helps me to like keep going. So I just wanted to thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being here. And if you guys are on Instagram, my Instagram handle is @itsNicoleFoster. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really truly do hope it helped you. I'm so glad I was able to like kind of give a lot of information, give you a little bit of my rundown of my journey on YouTube and kind of little tidbits along the way. So if you aren't subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If this video you think can help somebody else that's like maybe thinking about starting a YouTube channel, go ahead and send it to them, because it actually does help me out when you do that. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Everybody in the video, give mommy 1,000,000,000 subscribers. See you later, alligators.